Just do it. That's as simple as I can put it. You just go and do whatever it is you want to do. Whatever your dream is, whatever your burning desire is, just go and do it. I tell you my life story. I tell you my insights, how I live, what I have to overcome in order to progress with my own life, the difficulties I've had, the ups and downs, the fails, the wins. And I tell you this because I want that power for you, from whatever medium you actually take in and learn from. But I want you to be able to break the habit of being yourself. I want you to, enough talking about wanting or burning desiring or dreaming or imagining what the life you want to live and to go and do. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm starting with this YouTube channel and other social media platforms. I've got to a point where I have thought about it, imagined it, dreamed of doing it, and not had the right skills, but just decided just to start doing. And through doing, I realised what I need to learn. I realised what my own self-beliefs, my negative beliefs, my positive beliefs, and my attitude and action. And what that's doing is, by me actually doing, I'm actually confronting what I want and what I need to change in order to make my dream, my imagination, my purpose, to change myself. And I want to inspire you to do the same. I want you to stop telling yourself you can't do things, or it's not good enough, or the peers around you, the people who you live with, the closest people to you, to talk you out from not doing. Because by us taking control and by us starting and doing, do we actually learn what we need to learn? That sounds quite ironic, but we've got to understand, by breaking the habit of being ourselves, what that actually means in actually when we start doing. What we are confronted in his own thought process. What his ditch voice tells us compared to what his boss voice tells us. So I tell you this because I want to get you to actually start looking at ways in which making your dreams, your burning desires a reality. I'm doing that. I'm in the progress of doing that. I'm documenting my life as I do that. So this week, in terms of, or today, it just doing it, means that through my experience of starting to film, my experience of sitting in front of a camera, just me trying to talk and trying to put across what I'm wanting to spread to you, to motivate you, to make you commit to doing, is what I'm doing myself. So over these last few weeks, I have found it extremely hard and uncomfortable and quite negative in wanting to have to make notes, plan, and then actually sit and try and film in front of a camera, just me. And every day it's been a challenge just to rise up to that expectation I have of myself to film. And not just to film, but put good content to which I can look back on and be proud of. And by me actually doing, and by me actually just experiencing and then understanding the knowledge I've got, whether it can get to me at that stage, and understanding where my knowledge is lacking, what I need to learn. So as these weeks have rolled and I've continued to put in the reps, continue to exercise my muscles, my mental muscle, my physical muscle, my communication muscle, my patience muscle, by continuously exercising and training and exercising my discipline, my commitment, my motivation, and as to why I'm wanting to do what I'm doing, I'm realising now as that time's gone on that it's starting to become a little bit easier. I'm realising that it's not as hard. It's still hard, but not as hard. So if I continue to put in the reps, if I continue to do, then I will continue to get better. I continue to start changing myself within me, my thought process, my reasons as to why. And I learn about my attitude, my experience, my commitment, my understanding. And where I lack, I learn. Where my knowledge is missing, my medium is books. So I read lots, and I read more and more the more I'm doing this, because I know where I'm lacking in my knowledge. I know where I am falling short. And if I'm going to achieve my dream, my burning desire, I've got to learn that in order to put it into action, to gain experience from that action. So then I can plan a bit better, I can pivot a bit better to make it more worthwhile, to make it more a reality. So by just doing and just going out there and experiencing it, and knowing that knowing that you haven't got all the knowledge you need in order to make it a success. But if you don't start putting in the little reps, the little experiences, the little actions, then you're not gonna develop yourself. I'm not gonna develop myself. I've quite easily over these last few weeks give up and decide that it's too hard, and decide that in this medium of talking, as I'm talking about today, that it's not worth it because it's making me feel uncomfortable. And if I feel uncomfortable, then that's when my negative automatic thoughts come into play, my procrastination of actually going and doing. But now I can actually experience and look back and reflect on these last few weeks and realise now where I can improve, where I need to improve, where I can start planning far better. And through repetition of doing every day those small steps, I can actually then become better in the long term. And when I talk about long term, this is what I mean to you, this is what I want to get across to you. The long term for me is in a year's time. In a year's time, that's how far you need to think. By putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations, by confronting who you are, what it means to be you, you actually having to realise that actually if I do it now, in a year's time, I will be at this stage, I will be closer to making my burning desire, my dream a reality. So I look long term. So I know that I'm doing this now and I'm talking freely now. And yeah, I don't make notes. I just have a reflection on what my past few weeks have been, and only looking at the last few weeks to why I'm doing what I'm doing. And then as I'm doing that, it starts to become easier. And in a year's time, it might be just a part of what I do, filming my thought process, my actions, and why I'm doing it, to building it up to where I want it to be in my own mindset, where I will be pleased and happy, and just enjoying and getting used to the process of doing it. So my steps, if you like to say, is just to go and start doing that dream, that desire, understanding that you're going to have a whole host of negativity push you away. Starting with yourself is the biggest one, but understanding that that's what's going to happen when you have to develop something new. Then when we've experienced it, so number 2, we understand what we need to change, what we need to learn, and what we need to do in order to start changing how we process what's going on around us. So, start whatever medium it is for you, reading, if it's, YouTube, if it's, watching, if it's listening, whatever medium it is to you, start gaining the right knowledge in order for you to be able to understand what you're lacking and start improving on that, understanding where your belief system is and where your thought process is, and start improving on that. Once you start that, then start making plans, making the notes on what you're learning, and then start making a plan. And when people look at plans, you're like, seems hard work. And it is at first, trying to plan on what you need to do. But you need to plan in order to structure in your mindset what you need to do. You need to structure within yourself, but more in your mindset, the steps you make in order to make what your desire, your burning desire, your dream is. But it needs to be small steps, not generic. It needs to be small steps you do every day. Whether that's just learning something new for 10, 15 minutes a day, making those little notes and reflecting on what the notes, those value you've got, those nuggets of information which helps you, which applies to you, and reflecting on what you've written. And then you're creating just them little steps every day. So you're learning, and then you might go, on this 15 minutes, I'm going to start then looking at tomorrow, building that habit on what I've learned, then those little nuggets. And you're starting that momentum, you're starting rolling with that. You're starting to actually put into practice through little steps by structuring it in your mind what you need to do. Once you start and you start structuring and doing, within weeks and months of continuous repetition of doing it, as hard and as uncomfortable it is, that's when you start developing a new sense of you. But more importantly, you've got to understand that you've got to accept the wins from doing it. When you read that 15 minutes and make them notes, that's a win. When you're putting it into practice and you're doing it, win or fail, it's a win. Fail is first attempt in learning. Always remember, it's a first attempt in learning. So that's a win, because you're learning something by actually doing. You're learning something by actually actioning and understanding what works and what doesn't for you. But you're bringing new strategy, you're bringing new understanding, new structures to your mindset on how you can achieve. So by winning and failing and acknowledging that that's a win, changes your mindset. And this is what this is about. It's about controlling the mindset and overcoming our learned behaviours of the past in order for us to be able to move forward with us learnt behaviours of now, which is going to benefit us in the long term. Let me say that again. Overcoming your learnt behaviours of the past, so you have learnt behaviours for now which will benefit you in the future. So by actioning and taking those little steps, those little plans, and aiming from your big dream, your big burning desire, you're actually putting in the reps to do that. Once you start that process, continue experiencing, gaining the knowledge you need in order to make from them experiences what you're lacking, making those little plans each day and forming the new habits, the new mindsets to achieve, and then action all the time. Action. Just do it. Just do it. You'll get better later from it. It's so important. I stress that out to you. Back to my own life, because now I'm putting in the reps. I deserve to be good on camera. I deserve to give right information to you, or inspiration, and to make you want to go and do. Because I'm putting in the reps. It might not happen now, and it might not be benefited right now to you. But I know that by actually doing that, in a year's time, I will be giving more clearer, more concise, better communication. Because I'm starting here now. I've started already by putting in the reps. I deserve to have that wins and create the dream and my burning desire at the end of it, because I deserve it. And that mind shift, that mindset shift of knowing that you deserve to do it because you're putting in the work, is what actually key to you actually changing who you are, making you more better for you. And what that does is you end up starting to surround yourself with the people who are wanting to do and achieve just like you. You start distancing yourself from your family and friends who have a negative mindset, a negative view on what you're doing. For me, when I look at people like that, is don't tell me that I can't do it when I'm doing it. It's frustrating, but you distance yourself, you love them, you care, and you spend the time. You just don't tell them what you're doing. You just don't tell them what your achievements are and the effort you're putting in, because you're just going to face what you want to hear in terms of your belief systems from being around them, is that it can't be done. But anything can be done. So just go and do. Experience, gain the knowledge, plan, action, action, action. Execute on what you're doing, and you become better through repetition of that in time to come. You're exercising so many different muscles. You're exercising patience, you're exercising commitment, you're exercising your knowledge, you're exercising your memory, you're exercising creativity, you're exercising imagination, you're exercising what it means to be you. You're exercising commitment, motivation, passion, and that can be infectious. And you'll end up wanting to be around people who are working towards your goals. We get so stuck in his own lives, and this is why I've taken action. This is why I've decided to understand what it means to be Dean, and then to document, and then to create a company and create a product I want to sell through that company. And all the barriers I've had to overcome within myself, within preconceived conceptions of who I am from people around me. And I decided I'm not doing it no more, because I'm not going to live the way I want to live if I don't take action. And then as I get older and I hit 60s, 70s, 80s, I'm going to be full of regret that I never actually did anything. And I'm not doing that. One of my reasons why is no regrets. So just go and do. Just go do it. Start putting in the reps on that. Follow the steps. And keep bringing yourself to a higher self. And always remember to take your wins. Journal your wins. Journal your fails. But know that whichever one it is, the win, it's a win. As I'm going to do with social media, as I'm going to do with this YouTube. And I reiterate why I'm doing it, because I want to inspire you. I want you to have discipline and commitment, and commit to wanting to change you, and go after your burning desire, and go after your dream, and develop you. Develop who you are. So just go and do. This is my life. It's my journey. This is my startup. This is me.